Hello friends, Kisan is here again and welcome you in this video tutorial. In previous video tutorial I have shown you how to download Hibernate distribution zip file from internet, right? So here is the distribution file which I have downloaded in previous video tutorial, having the size around 80 MB, right? And I have unzipped this distribution file, and that is here, and that version is 5 to 11. If you go inside, then you have three folders basically. First folder is documentation, which basically provides you all kind of documentation, right? So if you go to the quick start page and single HTML, and you can start with the indexed page itself, and from here you can navigate anywhere. You can click over here examples code and you can go through this, and you can understand how we can create a session factory and all. So they provide basically all kind of documentation in this directory, right? So here if you go back and Java docs, you can study Java docs here itself, right? All kind of API, how Hibernate 5 API works. So this all those stuff you can study here itself. So this folder is basically related to Hibernate documentation. So even though there is no internet connection you have, still you can go through the Java docs regarding the Hibernate 5, right? So here is the user guide you have as well. So here you can go through you can click on the any HTML. I can go through the entire concept about the Hibernate, right? So this folder is basically related to the documentation. Now second folder that's very important, and that's the lib folder, which contains all the required jar to basically develop the Hibernate application. But in previous few video tutorials we have created a Hibernate related examples, and there we have seen how to create a session factory in Hibernate. And if you look into there, then we have a Maven based project and we have a POM. There we have declared all kind of dependency. So here basically we have added two dependency. First dependency we have added for the MySQL connector. So if you look into the Maven dependencies, then because of this dependency, this jar has been downloaded from the Maven repository, and that is getting added into the M2 directory of Maven, right? Now remaining dependency you can see over here. This dependency basically, rest of the dependency have been added because of this dependency what we have added for the Hibernate 5 to 11 version, right? So if you go to the lib folder, you have a different folders, right? So basically here when you add this dependency, right, then Hibernate will add Maven will add all the dependency which is present inside the required folder. Alright, this much dependency is getting added. So here you can see how many files are there, jar files are there. So you have a 10 files. So if you go to here, exactly these files are there. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 files, and one is extra because of this dependency, right? But if you want to use some other features, right, which is present in the other directory, that will not be added automatically. So again you need to add a dependency. Suppose if you want to use inverse dependency of Hibernate 5, then you will have to add it explicitly, right? So first of all, now I'm going to explain you about the jars which is present in the basically in every folders. So first of all we have a inverse. So if you go to the inverse directly, then we have only one jar, right? So the inverse project of Hibernate enables the developer to audit the persistence classes in the application. The aim of the inverse project is to provide the ability to developers for auditing of persistence classes or entity classes. Now next directory we have something which is called JPA meta model generator, and there is one jar. So basically this jar basically JPA, this jar basically defines JPA2, basically defines a type safe criteria API which allows criteria queries to be constructed in a strongly typed manner utilizing so-called static meta model classes. For developers, it is important that the task of the meta model generator can be automated, right? Hibernate static meta model generator is an annotation processor based on the JSR 269 with the task of creating JPA2 static meta model classes. Now next directory we have optional, right? So these are basically optional, and first inside the optional you have a C3P0. So if you want to implement some kind of connection pool, C3P0 connection pool, and Hibernate basically uses C3 connection pool, a C3P0 connection pool as a by default. Still, if you want to customize it, right, so you can add this dependency in your class path, right, and of course you can use a C3P0 connection pool. So this jar is basically related to the C3P0 connection pool. Now next we have a eCache. So if you want to implement some kind of e-caching in your Hibernate application, then these are related to that. Now next we have a InfiniSpan. So this is also a kind of cache. So if you want to use InfiniSpan cache in your application, Hibernate application, then of course you need to add this dependency in your class path, right? Now last we have a Proxul, right? Proxul is one of the connection pool similar to C3P0. So if you want to use database connection pool like Proxul, then of course you need to add this dependency in your class path. Now let's go ahead and check it out next directory. Now next directory we have something is called OSGI, right? And this directory contains this list of jars. The OSGI stands for Open Services Gateway Initiative, which is an specification for dynamic modularized system. Hibernate 5 supports OSGI, which provides the capability of installing, activating, deactivating and uninstalling during runtime without requiring a system restart. So if you want to use this feature, then of course you need to add this dependency in your class path, right? And required already we have talked, right? Now last but not the least, we have a Spatial, right? What is Spatial? Hibernate Spatial was originally developed as a generic extension to Hibernate for handling geographic data. Since Hibernate 5, Hibernate Spatial is now part of the Hibernate ORM project, and it allows you to deal with geographic data in a standardized way. So that's all about the binary which is present inside the lib folder. Now last but not the least, you have another directory is called project. So when you download Hibernate distribution zip file, then in this zip file Hibernate also puts the Hibernate provides some what kind of, there is some examples, Hibernate examples, right? So like how you are going to create a C3P0 connection pool. So if you want to look into this example, then they have provided the source code as well. Now they have also given the example of cache, right? If you want to implement some kind of connection pool like Hikari connection pool, then they have given a lot of example, InfiniSpan. You can see a lot of example they have provided. And when you start developing Hibernate application, then of course you can get help from here itself. So if I go over here and if I search for the Hibernate cfg.xml in this directory, so let's type Hibernate cfg.xml, then see a lot of Hibernate cfg.xml file you are getting over here, and you can open one of them, and you can see this Hibernate CFG .xml file contains a lot of properties which is required to develop the Hibernate application. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video tutorial. In next video tutorial we are going to talk about the basically we are going to talk about the basically Hibernate CFG.xml file. So in previous video tutorial I have copied this properties file from somewhere from my existing example, but in next video I am going to cover this file I am going to create from the scratch itself. So in previous video these two file, client program as well as Hibernate util, we had created from the scratch, but here in next video tutorial I am going to create this Hibernate CFG.xml file from the scratch. So and we'll talk about the property which is listed over here and some more property which is not present in this configuration file. So that's all I have in this video tutorial, guys. So thanks for watching this video and see you next video tutorial.